over there by Ender Hall. And tonight, what I'm going to be doing, presenting to you, we're going to do a little cookie demonstration with an Indian theme. We're going to make two items. One item is, well, when you translate it into English, it's known as chicken curry in a hurry. And we'll talk about why it is especially sort of an express version of preparing a chicken curry, which could be somewhat of a laborious uh, operation, but we do a couple of things that cut down on a few steps, uh, but also will expedite the preparation of the dish. Um, the other item that's going to go with it is going to be a jasmine vegetable spice pilau. Uh, Pilau is a rice dish. It's not only Indian, but in fact, it's felt to have originated with the Turks. Certainly in some Western countries, they'll go by the name of pilaf. But what it is, it's sort of what we would call a braised rice dish, where we start to cook the rice in a little bit of fat uh, and add spices to it. And when we cook those spices in the fat, it sort of amplifies the flavor. Then we add a liquid. Okay, in this case, it's going to be vegetable broth. So what I like to do now, I like to just head on right in. I want to start the rice first. As I said before, we're using whole grain basmati rice. Basmati is a very, should be a whole grain jasmine rice. Um, it's a very, very delicate long grain rice, originally from Thailand. Um Very, very tender, as I said before, delicate grains, very flavorful. What I had to do is wash the rice, number one. Number two, I soaked it for about a half an hour. So we're going to commence, okay, and what we're going to do is, as my vegetable broth is coming to a simmer, I have a bay leaf in it already developing flavor. Now, typically, the type of cooking fats that we use in this type of cuisine, we usually use something that's called ghee. Ghee is basically made from butter, okay? And we cook the butter to the point where it not only melts, but all the things that make up the butter, like the milk solids, like the butter fat itself, the water content, literally separates, and you are left with pure butter fat. So ghee is a type of what we would call clarified butter, clear butter. But in India and in that part of the world in general, what they do is they really, really, really clarify it. It's like crystal clear. In fact, it has a little bit of a like brownish color, very flavorful. One of the things that why they do this to the butter, it really extends its shelf life. Okay, ghee typically you don't have to refrigerate it. It doesn't really get rancid, so that's how it that basically came about. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to add our aromatic flavor producing vegetables. I got some chopped onion here, and I have now I'm working on an electric stove, so I'm going to say I'm cooking the onion on medium heat. I want to get the onion like a little very, very light golden color. And the same thing with carrots. And really, you could add almost any sort of, well, I would say root vegetables. You could use green onions. You could use shallots, um, and so on and so forth. Um, you could also add non-root vegetables like any sort of sweet pepper. Okay, so we're gonna really saute this. All right, and I'm going to get a very, very light golden color. In the meantime, I have my broth, at a very, very gentle simmer. Okay, and the next thing that I'm going to do is to go on ahead uh, once, okay, my vegetables get that nice golden color, which is just around the corner, so to speak. I'm going to add my spices. Okay, and again, this uh, preparation, this rice dish is not particularly spicy in terms of heat, but rather it's aromatic. So the spice I'm going to be added is a little bit of cumin and a little bit of cinnamon. So, and oh, let me not forget the ginger. All right, so we're just about there. Just about there. Okay, and excuse me 1 second. And what we're going to do, let me just show you. So maybe get it to the camera. I don't know how good the light is, but it's just beginning to get a little light golden color. And this really brings out like a savory sweetness, especially from the carrots, and just gives another sort of layer of flavor. All right, so what we're going to do, okay, we're going to go on ahead, okay, add my cumin, add my cinnamon, and this idea of cooking the spices like directly in fat is something you see most definitely in Indian cooking, certainly, but a lot in the cooking of South Asia. So you see it in Pakistan, you see it in Sri Lanka, you see it in other countries too. You see this a lot in the cooking of the Middle East and North Africa. So this cooking of the spices, directly in the fat, this releases a lot of the flavor producing what we call volatile oils. And this really amplifies the taste of the spices. Okay, I'll just show you how that looks. Okay. And right now, I mean, I wish you could smell it. You're really getting a very heady aroma. So now, okay, rice goes in. And the fat that is in the pan, we want to try to thoroughly coat the rice with it. That will help to keep the rice grains nice and separate as it cooks. And again, this sort of pilaf method is effectively what we call a braising method. We start with basically what we call dry heat. We have not added any liquid yet, but lo and behold, we're now going to switch to moist heat because my broth is ready to be introduced. Now, the proportion of liquid to rice, it's approximately 1.5 parts liquid, okay, to 1 part rice. For this particular rice, like I may have said, this is somewhat delicate rice, so we add a little less liquid. For other types of long grain rice, typically we do 2 parts liquid to 1 part rice. The other thing about with rice, it's a starch. It really soaks up a lot of seasonings. So, don't over season it, but you could season a little bit on the assertive side. Okay, so got my salt, a little pepper, bay leaf is in there already. And then what we're going to do, okay, well, I actually have 2 options. One option, okay, I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to put this to the back burner. And I'm going to let this cook for about 2-3 minutes, let some of that liquid evaporate. And then what I'm going to do is to cover it real tightly so it's going to be simmering in the pot and steaming at the same time. And I could leave it on top of the stove, but I think I'm going to let to finish cooking the rice in the oven. My oven is about 350, medium heat. And think I like to, when I cook rice like this, I like to do it in the oven because it cooks nice and evenly. Okay, so while that is happening, okay, we're going to go ahead. okay, and we're going to start to get ready to prepare the chicken. So I'm going to clean up